Alright, hey guys and gals, subscribers and unsubscribers, you should subscribe. This is my 2013 Ducati Hypermotard SP. I have just taken the charcoal evaporation canister off of it. It sort of looks like a drug. It looks like a big vape. I can make a vape out of this. No. If it's big, ugly, it fits up right here. They're on the Hypermotards and the Monsters. They're both 821s, 821cc engines. So they have the same engine configuration. So this applies for both the Monsters and all the Hypermotards. Pretty easy process. The only reason why this is on here is to make it, the evaporation canister has to be on because it's 50 state legal, so it works in California. Some bikes that were imported don't have this, so if you don't see this big black box sticking up on the left side of your engine, don't worry about it. Also, if you're in Europe or any other place in the world, you won't have this. So I'm going to start off by talking about in general how to take it off. Then I'm going to show you how to take it off. There's two ways. You can either like destroy it, just cut all the hoses, and then just yank it out after removing some of the bolts. I didn't do that. I decided to keep everything intact. Here's the bracket that holds the evap canister in there. Kept all the hoses intact just in case if I have to put it back on. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Any other Ducati or Hypermotard thing that I come across that I want to do, mods, I'll do it myself and then post it on YouTube. Okay, so first off we have the canister, and we have the first hose is the evaporative hose, and it comes out the bottom and it just like slips out. There's a little bracket that it stays in. Ooh, there's a leaf in here. I broke the leaf. So, and it clips onto a bracket that clips onto the side of the engine. You can either keep or remove this. There's no big deal if you do or don't. And then the hose that goes to the throttle body is out of the top of the canister, and it goes across the bike, so I'll show you that. So the hose comes out from across the bike to here, and it makes a teak joint from this side to the engine side. It's connected to the throttle bodies here, and then it comes up around the coolant reservoir, and it goes around and to the back under the seat. You can remove this plastic piece, and it helps you reach in there a little bit more. So I'm going to take off this stuff first because it's a little bit easier, and then I'll take off the canister. So to pull it off, it's just there's a clamp. Just loosen the clamp down the pipe and then just pull it off. So once you get the hose off, it's pretty easy to plug the hole. I just got these little things from Home Depot because I had to pick up a couple washers. They're screw, they go on the top of screws. You can pick these up at any auto parts store, and they're pretty cheap. They're like 50 cents, but you just want to plug the end of the vacuum hose. So see, you can probably see the little port in there. So the size is 8, I guess it's 8 millimeters. I was looking on the Hyperstrata forums, and it said, what was it? I think it was 1/8. I could be wrong, but that's just me. So I'll just plug the hole. I'm going to take off the side cover because it just makes accessing the next port a little easier. It's a 3 millimeter Allen wrench on both these screws, and it pops right off. I know this is a little hard to see, but it is the port in the back. So it's this one. It's not the first. It's where the silver is. That's the second port that you have to pull off. So I got the hose off, and the port's all the way in there. This is probably the hose that many people will cut because it's just it's such a tight space to get into. It's such a pain in the ass. People will just cut it and plug it. But I took it off. All I have to do is plug that port now. There's the port all plugged up. Just use a pair of needle nose pliers to push it on, and then use like a long screwdriver and just force it over the top. Next part is the hose and rerouting the hoses. So the hose comes out from here, and this is the coolant reservoir, and it goes underneath the coolant reservoir, and it comes out into a T. What I'm going to do now is just pull this hose over a little bit and try to keep this hose here, because when I remove it from the other side of the canister, I can just start pulling this down and pulling this outwards, and it's a lot easier to deal with than like trying to snake this hole back in but I'm gonna put the little side fairing piece back on, move on to the other side of the bike. Okay, all you have to do now, we'll pull out the evaporative hose so it doesn't get in the way and it just dangles down. And you just pull this down and then canister comes right out. It does take a little bit of pulling. Just watch the hoses and stuff. Okay, so this hose is the one that goes across the bike to the throttle bodies. Just pull it off the nipple. And then this one goes up to the air box. Some people, this is a tank overflow hose. Some people like choose to not remove it or whatever. I mean, like what you can do is connect it to the other overflow hose. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't need it. Probably zip tie it to these hoses here, but you just pop it off, and then a small zip tie will work. So I just get a little zip tie. Just zip tie this up. Put it right next to the other zip tie that's right there, and it'll blend in. Next piece is this bracket. You can either take it off or leave it on. If you take it off, you got to put the screws back in, or else they're just going to be empty holes, and that can lead to rust and corrosion. But I'm going to take it off and just put the screws back in. It's a Torx driver. I don't know what the size is. And then this is an 8mm hex head. So here's the bracket removed. You can keep it on or take it off. I don't think any of this stuff, like if you have a bash plate or something, it connects to these bolts. It might. I'm not sure. I'm just going to put the bolts back in. Bolts are back in. Looks fine. Look at how beautiful this cylinder is. It was, yeah, see, it's like this, and now boom. This, boom. This, boom. Like, so beautiful. So this is the last part. Everything's basically done. Those hoses are all disconnected. The only hard part now is to like wiggle the hoses out, and you can start by getting this hose under the coolant reservoir and then start pulling it out towards me. So I got this hose. This is probably the harder hose to get out, the one that connects to the back port, and this hose is already out. I already pulled them out, but the hose will be up. You just want to pull this one that led to the canister out. It'll be shorter and easier, and then it'll give you enough to pull it out from under the coolant reservoir. And then that's it. It's completely removed. Make sure to plug the ports. The engine or the gas tank overflow, just make sure to like put that up out of the way. You don't want to hitting the radiator because it's made of rubber. It'll burn it. Well, that's it. You've done it. You've removed the canister. Hooray! Pat on the back for you.